Good morning. Today is 25th of February and welcome to the newspaper analysis. So guys, in the today's video, we will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. Also, we'll see the good articles from the Indian Express explained section. Now, before starting up, first of all, we will take the overview of the entire newspaper in order to understand the articles which will be relevant for our examination. Okay, so first of all, let's see the overview. Now, the Indian Express newspaper, we can see here that into the Indian Express newspaper, the first article is talking about the India's tightrope walk between the West and the Russia. So this has happened in the context of the attack that has been made by the Russia on the Ukraine. So we will be seeing this particular entire article because there is multiple articles in the Hindu also into this particular respect. Now, moving on after that, economy in the time of war. Okay, so what has happened? The Sensex has went down because of the Russia's invasion over the Ukraine that has happened. So we'll see this particular article. This particular article is not important because it is containing that okay, whether it is a better time to buy the stocks or whether you should sell the stocks. And being a UPSC aspirant, I can understand that we are not in the condition of buying and selling the stocks as of now. Okay, so moving on. After that, reaching to the Hindu newspaper. Now, in the Hindu newspaper, first of all, where we can see the text and the context section that usually comes here in the online copy, e-copy. Now, the first article is talking about the Russian aggression on the Ukraine and international law. We'll see this particular article, what is provided here. Then the below article is talking about the Indus water treaty because again because now there will be the 117th meeting of the permanent Indus commission. So we'll see this particular article. After that, moving on, why the cinematography of Emmanuel Lubezki astounds. So guys, with respect to the UPSC, this article is not relevant. Then further moving on, after that we come to the main Hindu newspaper. The first article again talking about the Russia's invasion over the Ukraine. Okay, so this is about it. Then further moving on, uncertainty grips Indian students in Ukraine. So that particular thing is going on. So a consolidated article in this particular line, we'll see. Then further moving on, other things not important into the city sectional section. How guys, here we can see cabinet approves e-waste eco park. So we'll see this particular article with respect to a case study. Then further moving on, further moving on in this particular direction. Now as we move here, one more article we can see. So this also we'll see with respect to the case study, how we can use it. Then other political articles that are there, please don't go because they are not relevant for our examination. So such polity articles are not important. Political articles, sorry. Then moving on, after that we reach to the editorial page. Here the first article, shaking up Europe's security architecture. So basically the developments that are going in the Ukraine, the NATO's role, the Russia's stakes, all these things are discussed. Clear? So we will discuss one article on the Ukraine as what is the issue that is going on. However, every day, the day-to-day developments, okay, every day evolving situation. Now I am just telling you that over the coming days, every day one article will be coming on the Ukraine, not needed to follow it every day. Then Ploughing, a new channel for India's food system. We'll see this article. Then after that, Russia's NATO problem. So the same NATO, Russia, Ukraine has been discussed here. After that, active agent. So guys, yesterday we have seen that one of a minister in the Maharashtra, Nawab Malik, has been arrested. So the arrest of Nawab Malik is discussed here. Then further is the new economy creating new jobs. So the startup culture, the startups entering in the unicorn club, this thing has been discussed here. We'll see what has been provided, but more or less they are having a casual conversation with respect to the Zomato and all such kind of startups. So we'll see what is relevant for our example. Then the notebook, a lesson from Ravish Tiwari. So guys, basically this notebook, it contains the personal experiences, fine. However, with respect to UPSC, much is not there in this article. Then after that, the entire paper is filled with the Ukraine, Russia and all those kind of things. So India is just trying to bring sense in the countries, and the India is saying that only the diplomatic solution will be the way out. The fighting will not be leading anywhere, and this is something very matured thing that is being said by the India from the very start. And in this particular direction only, the India is reaching to the Russia and asking them to stop this particular thing that is going on. Okay, so this is the issue that is going on. Okay, then guys, after moving on, the assembly polls, usually we don't see this particular page because of the political news that usually are here. Now this particular article, Manipur's Meiteis demand for ST status. So we will be discussing about out the Manipur and the Meiteis people. Then after that, US group hacked Indian research institutes. We'll see little bit what has happened here. Then guys, Supreme Court says a tribunal act goes against its order. So basically, we have multiple times discussed this particular issue. Now in the article, there is no substance that is there. Just the Supreme Court has made an observation that the tribunal act that government came out with, under which the tribunal members appointment and the job condition etc. has been regularized. So basically, the same tribunal act that had come earlier, earlier an ordinance was passed for such a kind of a thing with the same kind of wording. Now that ordinance was declared as ultra virus by the Supreme Court, but then with the same kind of substance again act was brought. So that's what Supreme Court is saying. Supreme Court says that this goes against the order and it is something like dishonoring the Supreme Court. Clear? Just this particular observation has been made here. After that, nothing is there. Then the world page, this entire page is filled with the Russia Ukraine. Okay, so this is about it. Then guys, on to the business page. As the Russia had invaded the Ukraine, stock markets have went down. Okay, that particular thing. Okay, then the market trends, the Moody's had raised the India's GDP outlook prospect. Earlier Moody's said that India will be growing at 7%, and then now it has been revised to 9.5%. Now guys, every other month there is some up and down that is going here into the forecast. Clear? If cases will increase, it will go down. If cases will go down, it will go up. Such kind of thing is going on. Every such kind of article is not important for our examination. Fine. Then we have the sports page. Okay, so guys, basically one liner comments, evolutionary details, evolutionary data that will come. You need to basically avoid such kind of things, because into the long term these things will not be making a sense, because all such kind of details will be changing. Clear? So the state of economy related issues you need to see, but such everyday detail are not important. Fine. Now we'll be moving to the GS articles for today. So first of all, as we take in every class, we will be starting with the GS quote. So today we will be taking a GS quote from Ban Ki-moon, and this particular quote is very much relevant into the present time, that what is happening. As Russia has invaded the Ukraine, fine, there are the people who are seeing this particular crisis. So the Ban Ki-moon says on this particular thing that the world is overarmed and peace is underfunded. And always this particular thing has happened, and because the peace has always been underfunded, we have seen such a deadly wars. Is it clear? And in this particular direction, even the Gandhiji's view also become very important. Now what Gandhiji says, Gandhiji on the issue of war, he says that what difference it makes to the poor, what difference it makes to the poor and the people who are dead, that whether the war was fought in the name of authoritarianism or in the holy name of democracy. The people who have dead, the people who are poor, their conditions cannot be changed. Clear? For the fact as what was the reason for the war. So war is evil in all aspects. Such kind of thing is there. Okay, now moving on. First of all, the answers for the yesterday's MCQ. Question number 1, correct answer will be B. Question number 2, correct answer will be B. You can pause and you can see the statement what is there. Clear? Then now after that, moving on to the today's questions. Clear? Just guys, you can pause the video here and can mark your correct answer. Clear? Now the first question is about the Milan exercise. Now the Milan exercise is in news because it is scheduled to be conducted. Please read the statements and identify the correct option. After that, question number 2, it is with respect to the constitutional amendment. Why? Because the proposal to bring a new constitution has come. So please read the statements and identify the right option. So this is all about the questions, and now moving on. So guys, the first article that we'll be taking up here, it is the Russia's invasion that it had made on the Ukraine. Is it clear? So here we will consolidate the articles from the Indian Express and the Hindu newspaper. All the articles will be consolidating here. Now see, you don't need to see every day that where they have reached, okay, which city they are right now attacking. Okay, no. Now first of all, let's understand that what has happened here. So guys, here you can see the map. On this particular map here we can see that this is Ukraine. Here you have the Belarus. Here there is Romania, Poland, all these countries are there. Now this is the Russia. Okay, now this particular region which right now I am marking in blue, this is the Donbas region fine, in the eastern Ukraine. Now this Donbas region is particularly having the people who are pro-Russians. 70% of the people here, they speak the Russian language, and since 2014 they have demanded either an independence, and even a referendum has been passed in 2014 where they declared their independence. Okay, or if not independence, they want to merge with Russia and they don't connect with the Ukraine as such. Ukraine has said that neither you can merge with Russia nor your independence will be recognized. We can give you autonomy. Clear? That is something that is going on. Now within this particular Donbas region, here you can see there is a Luhansk and there is a Donetsk. Luhansk and Donetsk are there. Now guys, just a couple of days back, the Luhansk and Donetsk, they again declared their independence, and the Russia had even recognized the Luhansk and Donetsk. Fine, it has recognized their independence even. Since then, the condition became even more problematic. Now what has happened? Russia had carried an invasion on the Ukraine. Invasion through the air, through land, as well as through the sea has been carried. Now from the land, the Belarus is being used. Is it clear? From the Belarus, the invasion is being made. Is it clear? Basically, they are going towards the Kiev. So from Belarus, they are going towards the Kiev. Then guys, from the Black Sea, from the Black Sea, the invasion through the sea has been made. Clear? Here we can see that the Odessa is here. Here there is a Odessa, okay, and the Kherson is here where some of the invasions have been made. Is it clear? So from the Black Sea they are coming in, and then from the Belarus the invasion has been made. Now what are the reasons for this particular invasion? So guys, there are the three reasons for the invasion that has been made in the Ukraine. Reason number one, Ukraine's desire to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Now guys, first of all, multiple number times you also know that we have discussed this entire Ukraine Russia issue from past few days. Every day we are discussing. Clear? And many times I have provided you this particular thing, that the Crimea, okay, we have many times seen that basically the Crimea, okay, here there is a Crimea. So basically this Crimea, it was annexed in 2014 by the Russia. Okay, and since then the Ukraine is very skeptical of the Russian interest. Clear? And now into the past 1 year, the confrontation between the Russia and Ukraine has increased so much. So Ukraine, in order to seek for their safety, in the month of January, it has said that we want to join the NATO. Now NATO is a grouping led by the USA, and all the members of the NATO, they had one particular tagline, that if an attack will be carried on anyone, we will assume that attack has happened on everybody and we will come together. It is a military alliance. The NATO is a military alliance. Ukraine believed that if we will join the NATO, then the USA will come for our protection. And the moment Ukraine said that we want to join the NATO, Russia became even more frustrated. And Russia said that if Ukraine will become the NATO member, the USA's presence in very neighborhood will happen. And since then, the Russia has been very much irritated from Ukraine. After that, nuclear weapon acquisition. Now the Russia, second thing that the Russia says is that the Ukraine is now in a process to acquire the nuclear weapons from the help of USA, and the nuclear weapons, if they will be there into the Ukraine, then Ukraine might threaten the Russia into the long term. So basically in a preemptive attack, in a preemptive way, they have attacked the Ukraine. Clear? So that it doesn't acquire the nuclear weapons. Then the third is that the accusation of genocide. Now guys, from past few days we have discussed this particular word, false flag attack. In the false flag attack, we have seen this particular thing, that the West is worried that, see, this Donbas region, which already we have discussed. Just a minute. Fine, I have provided you that the West is worried because this Donbas region that is there, here they can just create some kind of tensions at their own, and then they'll say that this tension has actually been created by Ukraine, and by taking an excuse of that particular tension, they can carry the invasion. Now the same thing has happened. What Russia says that into this particular eastern Ukraine, in this particular region, the Ukraine has started to carry the genocide. They are selectively killing the people who have the Russian ethnicity, and in order to protect these people, we have made an attack. So these three reasons are there. Ukraine's desire to join the NATO, Ukraine might have the nuclear weapons, might collect the nuclear weapons, and third, the genocide that is being carried by the Ukraine. But guys, nothing of this particular thing has actually happened. Fine. Now, moving on, that what will be the international law in this particular respect? Is it clear? As this particular invasion has happened, now every country's comment, etc., you don't need to see. Now, seeing that what are the international laws provision. Now, guys, when we talk about this particular issue, what has happened? Intervention has been carried into the Ukraine by Russia. Now, there is a principle of non-intervention, fine, which is the founding principle of the UN Charter, founding principle of the UN Charter. Now, the UN Charter is the fundamental document. Okay, under the UN Charter, there is article number 2, subclause 4. Under the article number 2, subclause 4, it has been provided that the states have to refrain from using the force or threat of using the force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Now, the Russia had used the force against the Ukraine, and this is violation of the article number 2, subclause 4 of the UN Charter, number 1. Then, guys, the second thing is there that there is also one more United Nations General Assembly resolution of 1974. Now, this UN General Assembly resolution provides, actually it has defined the aggression. It has defined the aggression. What is aggression? Aggression is the use of armed force by a state against the sovereignty, territorial integrity, or political independence of another state. Now, Ukraine is a sovereign state. Against the Ukraine, Russia had made an attack. So this is aggression. Moreover, there is one more thing that comes into the definition of aggression. Aggression is also allowing one's territory to be used by another state for aggression against a third state. This is also aggression. Now, what here will come? Here will be coming the role of Belarus. Here will be coming the role of Belarus. Now, I have told you that here we have the Belarus. And what has happened in the start, I explained you this particular thing, that from the Belarus, the Russia is carrying the invasion in the Ukraine. From the Belarus, the Russia is carrying the invasion in the Ukraine. So what had happened? Belarus had allowed to use their territory for aggression against a third state. Who is a third state here? Ukraine. What happened? Russia came to Belarus. From Belarus, they are going to Ukraine. So Belarus is allowing their territory to be used for aggression. And this also comes in the definition of aggression adopted by the United Nations General Assembly resolution. Clear? So this is again one more issue that is coming here. Now, guys, therefore, the Ukraine is also responsible. Fine. Now, moving on. After that, when we see other implications onto the international law that is coming, is that I told you that Ukraine said that will join the NATO. Russia don't want that Ukraine should join the NATO. Now, Russia's desire is to keep Ukraine out of NATO. Clear? And this particular thing is also violative of the article number 2, subclause 4. Now, the Ukraine is a politically independent nation. Ukraine is a sovereign state, and being a sovereign state, it is free to decide which organization it wants to join, and there Russia should not have any problem. So here also the Russia is in violation of UN Charter article number 2, subclause 4. Then the next issue also that is coming, guys, Russia also violated the article 2, subclause 3. Now, what is article 2, subclause 3? It provides that if there is any dispute between the two countries, these countries should settle their dispute through the peaceful means, through negotiations, through diplomatic channels. Is it clear? But what has happened? Russia had not used the diplomacy, rather the Russia had carried the invasion. So it is also the violation of article number 2, subclause 3. Is it clear? Now, in this particular capacity, guys, what are the options that the Ukraine is having? So Ukraine, under the UN Charter article number 51, can ask for can go for the self-defense. Now, guys, first of all, the role of the United Nations Security Council comes here. Clear? That they will be protecting a country. But you know that in the United Nations Security Council, Russia is a permanent member, and Russia being a permanent member, Russia has a veto over there. So any proposal, if it will come in the UNSC that the Ukraine is to be protected, Russia will use their veto and nothing can happen. So from UNSC, we can't expect that any help will be coming. So Ukraine, either it can act in the self-defense by using their own military, by using their own capabilities, or it can ask for the help from a third country. Here they can ask the help from America or any such kind of a country. Is it clear? So this is something that is going on here. Now, moreover, I told you that there was also one more thing. for which the Russia has attacked over the Ukraine, it is that Russia says that the Ukraine may acquire the nuclear weapons by the help of Western allies such as USA. Now in this particular direction also, the International Court of Justice had already ruled. International Court of Justice provides this particular thing, that the legality of threat of nuclear weapon, that just somebody is possessing it, it doesn't constitute a threat. Simply that Ukraine will have the nuclear weapon, it doesn't constitute a legitimate threat to Russia. And even if the Ukraine will join the NATO, just joining the NATO does not constitute a credible threat to Russia. Ukraine is a sovereign country, it can do whatever it want. So all these particular grounds on which the Russia has invaded the Ukraine, these grounds are just bogus grounds, and just they have manufactured by the Russia. Clear? So this is something that is going on in this particular direction. So guys, this is all about it. Fine. Understanding these particular provisions is something little bit important. Why it is important? First of all, GS paper number 2, if a specific question is coming, you can give the references here. Secondly, in GS paper number 4, there is in the topic number 6, there is a topic number 6 into the GS paper number 4, which has contained the ethics of international relation. And in the international relation, international law is to be followed. That is the most primary ethical principle. Here, the international law has been violated, particularly the UN Charter has been violated by the Russia. This is something that could be used there in GS paper number 4. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Okay. Understanding the Indus Water Treaty. So this is one more article that has come from that has been taken from the text and the context section of the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so this article will be important for our GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, find the issues related to the neighbors. Issues related to the neighbors, international relation will be using it. First of all, why the Indus Water Treaty is now coming into the newspaper? It is coming into the newspaper because now on the February 28th, the date and all these kind of things are not at all important. Now there will be the 117th meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission that is going to be held, and we'll see that what will be coming here. Now first of all, let's understand what this Permanent Commission is, what this Indus Water Treaty is from the very scratch. Okay, so first of all, we'll be taking the background. Now you know this particular thing, that in 1947 the one country got partitioned in two. One became the Pakistan and other became the India. Now as the land was divided, the natural resources were also to be divided. There were the rivers that were flowing from India to the Pakistan. Is it clear? Particularly there is the Indus river system. Now the rivers originate in the region, many of the rivers are originating into the region of Tibet. They come in India, and from India they go to Pakistan. So dividing this river and river water was also an important thing, how it is to be done. Now originally what had happened, as with respect to the colonial laws, fine, this particular thing carried, but then guys, there were the differences that got developed between the India and Pakistan over the sharing of the water. And in this particular capacity, what happened, the World Bank come in between. Fine, we'll be seeing just this particular thing in much more elaboration. Now when we talk about this Indus River Basin, within the Indus River Basin there are the 6 rivers that are there: Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. These 6 rivers are there. Now basically I told you that the disputes emerged between the Pakistan and India with respect to the sharing of the water. In 1951, both of the countries, because the disputes were there, applied for the developmental grant from the World Bank. They said that they wanted to build the irrigation projects on the rivers. Now World Bank said that okay, we can give you the money, but then we will come in between and we will try to settle the dispute that is going on between you, India and Pakistan. Will settle the dispute. Okay, and then the World Bank came, and the World Bank brokered a deal between the India and Pakistan. Now this particular deal came in 1960, and this deal is called as the Indus Water Treaty. So Indus Water Treaty came in existence in 1960 by the role which was played by the World Bank in the mediation. Now this particular deal was signed by the Prime Minister of India Jawaharlal Nehru and the President of Pakistan Ayub Khan. Now what this particular deal deal provided? This deal provided that three of the western rivers, that is the Indus, Chenab and Jhelum, will be given to the Pakistan for unrestricted use. Find their water, whatever way they want to use, they can do that particular thing. Is it clear? After that, the second provision of this particular Indus Water Treaty is that the other three eastern rivers such as the Ravi, Byas and Satluj, they will be given to the India for unrestricted usage. Is it clear? If we talk in terms of how much water came to which country, so guys, 80% of the water in this Indus river system, it is there into the three rivers, that is the Indus, Chenab and Jhelum, which went to Pakistan. However, just the 20% water flows in the Ravi, Byas and Satluj, the rivers which came to India. So in terms of proportion, 80% water went to the Pakistan and 20% water was for the India. Is it clear? Now, along with this, there was one more provision that was there into this Indus Water Treaty. It was provided that India even can use the western waters river for non-consumptive purpose. So what are the western rivers? Again, just focus on to this particular document that is there. See, the western rivers, Indus, Chenab, Jhelum, these rivers have been given to Pakistan, but the water, obviously the water will flow from India to Pakistan. So when these rivers are there in the India can use this water for the non-consumptive purpose. What is the non-consumptive purpose? It has been said that run of the river projects can be made. For example, suppose the Indus is flowing from India. Suppose here is Pakistan. What India can do? India can make a dam, can store the water into this particular dam. Okay, the water will fall down. As the water will fall down, fine, the turbines will rotate and the hydroelectricity can be generated. Is it clear? And then the water from here will flow to the Pakistan. Now what India is doing, India is using the water for generation of the hydroelectricity. Just water is flowing from a particular process. We are not drinking that water. We are not using that water for irrigation, for agriculture. These are the run of the river projects. Is it clear? We are not consuming, just the water is flowing from a process, and in this particular process we are generating some hydroelectricity. So first, for such non-consumptive purposes, even the three rivers that have been given to the Pakistan can be used by India. So it means that the India can develop the projects onto these particular rivers. It was provided. Then further, as the part of this Indus Water Treaty, it was provided that both the countries, they also have to establish a permanent Indus Commission. Now this permanent Indus Commissioner will have the permanent commissioners on both the sides, and these permanent commissioners and this permanent Indus Commission will serve as a forum for exchange of information on the river. They will share the water data, water usage data. It will also be used as a forum for bringing the conflicts that are there. Okay, and this is all the thing that is going on. We have seen that run of the river projects can be provided. Now the Indus Water Treaty has provided for a three-step dispute resolution mechanism in case there is some dispute. Now the disputes will be resolved at the commission or intergovernmental level. Okay, so the government of India, Pakistan, they can discuss it. However, if nothing is coming, then what can happen? If that fails, either side can approach the World Bank, and the World Bank can appoint the neutral expert. The World Bank can appoint a neutral expert to deal with this particular matter. Clear? But however, if the parties are still not satisfied, then the matters can be referred to the court of arbitration. So the court of arbitration is the highest level where any dispute, if it come, it can be taken up. Now guys, already many of the times the dispute has come between the India and Pakistan because of this particular river water, but the Indus Water Treaty has been one of the most successful treaty in the world, because multiple wars have happened, so much of low moments have come in the relation, but still the negotiations under the Indus Water Treaty are going on. Now one of a very big conflict on the water usage between the India and Pakistan was on the Kishan Ganga. So the Kishan Ganga hydroelectricity project, clear? It was being built by India. Now guys, Kishan Ganga, when we talk about Kishan Ganga is is the tributary of the Jhelum river. Kishan Ganga is the tributary of Jhelum river, and you can see here that the Jhelum river has been given to Pakistan. Kishan Ganga is the tributary of Jhelum river, and Jhelum has been given to Pakistan. Pakistan said that India is not cannot make the Kishan Ganga hydroelectricity project, but the work onto the Kishan Ganga hydroelectricity project got started in 2007. The dam was to be built onto the Kishan Ganga and the water was to be diverted. Now the Pakistan provided that first of all the height of the dam is very much. They said that 97 meters height is so much and a lot of water will be stored, and when so much of the water will be stored, there will be some problem that will be coming in Pakistan. So the height got reduced eventually. Then the design was disputed. The Kishan Ganga hydroelectricity power hydrocity project's design was disputed. Ultimately, guys, what happened? Both the countries approached the court of arbitration. Both of the countries approached the court of arbitration, and there the matter was settled in the favor of India. Clear that India can go forward with the project. Is it clear? So these are the things. Then, guys, there are the other disputes on other rivers also. The disputes have been there between the India and the Pakistan. Now here if we see, now just a minute, here if we see, there is a kind of a dispute that is going on. Three Indian hydropower projects are there in the dispute. Clear? In the Chenab basin, in Jammu and Kashmir, there is the Pakaldul project which is under the dispute. Clear? Then Lower Kalnai project, okay, and then the Kiru project are there, which are some of the projects which are still into the dispute. So Kalnai, Kiru, and Pakaldul, where they are in the Indus river system. Clear? So such kind of things you need to remember. So that is all about this particular Indus water treaty and the issues and the details with respect to this particular issue. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now here, guys, we have taken two of the examples from the regional section, and these two developments will be seeing as per the case studies that can be used in our answers. Clear? Now the first example here you can see is from the Delhi. It is from the Delhi. What the Delhi government is going to do? It is approving the e-waste eco park. E-waste eco park. Now see, first of all, before going into this article, there is a little of a background that we will be taking here. See, today when we talk about the waste, e-waste has become a very big kind of nuance for the entire world. With respect to the e-waste, there is no proper recycling, no proper refurbishment, no proper handling, particularly into the India. In India, the e-waste is being handled by the informal workers. Many a times they don't have any safety gears, and into these e-waste there are many of the heavy metals that are used. There are sometimes the chemicals that are being used which are very much harmful for the human, and as these e-waste are being basically handled in a very irresponsible manner, it has become an environmental concern. Is it clear? So therefore the Delhi government is coming out with the e-waste eco park. What is this e-waste eco park? Now this particular park, it will be an integrated facility. It will be an integrated facility which will accommodate various handlers, e-waste refurbishers. What are the refurbishers? Suppose you had a mobile phone. That mobile phone developed some kind of problem, okay, you discarded that mobile phone. There will be a refurbisher. What he will do? He will take that mobile phone, will correct the problem that was there, will clean that mobile phone, and will resell that particular mobile phone. So there are the e-waste refurbishers. Clear? Then there are the dismantlers. Okay, let's say you have a computer, dismantling that computer into the different parts. Some part can be recycled, some part can be reused, then some parts are to be be put to some other process. Then the recyclers are there. Fine. Then the plastic waste processors are there, and such kind of people are there. So this e-waste eco park will be an integrated facility where all these people will be connected together, and so that they can handle the e-waste more effectively in the scientific manner. In the scientific manner, the dismantling will be carried, recycling will be carried, and if possible the reuse will be carried. Right now all these particular things are done by the informal recyclers who don't have any experience, and sometimes their health also gets impacted by this particular thing. So this is something that has happened, and on the lines of the Delhi, other states should also come out with their e-waste eco park type of schemes where the responsible handling of the e-waste needs to be carried. So for such guys, so basically this particular case study can be used in GS paper number 3. it can be used in the GS paper number 3. So in the GS paper number 3, environment, e-waste, etc. are there. We can use it. Clear? Moreover, one more suggestive point could be made, that apart from creating this integrative facility, one more thing could be there. This is a suggestion or a way forward, that the Delhi government should also come out with a provision that in every ward, there also needs to be an e-waste collector that is to be constituted, so that the members living in a ward, the people living in ward can drop their e-waste there. So the collection centers also needs to be there. E-waste collection centers also needs to be established. So this is something that is there. Now guys, the another case study from the regional section. Read this. BJP MLAs to return the iPhone gifted with budget copies in Rajasthan. Now what has happened? First of all, I will tell you the matter and then how we will be using it. See, in the Rajasthan, when the budget of Rajasthan was presented, the MLAs, they were given the budget in a iPhone, in a new iPhone. So in an order to give the boost to the e-budget, what happened? The budget was, a soft copy of a budget was downloaded on iPhone, and iPhone 13 was gifted. This particular thing has actually not been seen in a very good light. Why? Because the Rajasthan government is already facing a deficit, and now into the times of pandemic, the revenue streams are already exhausted, and in this particular thing, spending 1.5 crore rupees as 75,000 rupees mobile phone has been given to every MLA. 75,000 rupees mobile phone giving to every MLA is not a financially prudent step. It is not a financially prudent step. Is it clear? Now guys, when we talk about the governance and when we talk about the state needs to follow the financial austerity. Now the Code of Good Governance of Spain has mentioned one particular value that is to be followed by the civil servants and by the government functionaries, that is the value of austerity. What is the value of austerity? Value of austerity means that you should not spend too much wherever possible. You need to conserve the money, because at the end of the day, this money, it doesn't belongs to the government. This money is the money which has been contributed by the exchequer through their taxes. So that particular money is to be used only for the welfare of the citizen, and using the money to give the expensive goodies to the MLA, such as the iPhones, so that just they can read the budget, it is not a financial prudent kind of decision. So such expenditures are needed to be contained for the welfare of citizen. So this is something that can be used in GS paper number 4 also. The application of this thing can be there in the administrative ethics. Administrative ethics is mentioned in the topic number 6 and the topic number 7. Fine. So that is all about this particular article. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay. Ploughing a new channel for India's food system. Okay, so this article will be important for our GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, food and agriculture related issues. Food and agriculture related issues, GS3, this article will be important. Now, first of all, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the UN Food System Summit. UN Food System Summit, which has talked about that we need to bring a robust interface between the science, society, policy. Science, society and policy. Before going in this particular article, first of all, let's understand that what is this food system. What is this food system? So basically, guys, the food system refers to a constellation or refers to the collection of a process, all the activities from the producing of food to processing of food to the transportation and to the consumption. It comes in the definition of food system. So farmer will grow the food, then that food will go to the food processing unit, and then it will be transported to the shops, and from the shops the people will buy and will consume that food. So entire this chain is called as the food system. So there is a need of bringing some reforms into the food system. Number one, we need to bring the science. We need to make our food systems more efficient. Then there are the social reforms that are to be carried, and then the policy reforms. The government need to come out with some adequate policies. Now, first of all, guys, it has been provided that the science and the society, what we need to do here. See, in 1960s, India started with the Green Revolution, and before the Green Revolution, there was a lot of food insecurity that was there in India. We were dependent on the countries such as the USA. Under the USA's PL 480 scheme, we used to take the food and we used to use it. Fine. After the coming of green revolution, the science was actually utilized. The high yielding variety seeds were developed. Okay, and many such scientific interventions were carried into the agriculture, and the production actually increased. However, if today even we see the production has increased, the quantity has increased, but qualitative food security has not come in India. Nutritional indicators even today are bad. 18.7% of the women and 16.2% of the men, they are not able to meet the basic nutritional needs. Macro and micronutrient deficiency is there. Micronutrient deficiency is the deficiency of minerals and vitamins, and macronutrients, macros are your proteins, fats, carbohydrates. Okay, so every person needs a specific amount of protein, they are not able to get it by that food. Then the minerals, vitamins, etc., they are not able to get by the food. 32% of the children below the age of 5 are underweight. They are underweight as per the National Family Health Survey 5. Is it clear or not? So therefore what happens, there is still a lot of poverty that is there, a lot of malnutrition that is there. Is it clear? So therefore what we need to do, we need to first of all ensure that this poverty etc. is being reduced into the people so that they can buy the food. So science intervention has earlier been done into the green revolution. It provided a lot of benefit. Today even more scientific intervention should be made. For example, food fortification, enhancing the nutritional content into the same food. These are some more scientific interventions that should be carried. Poverty is a problem, it should be handled. Moreover guys, declining land productivity is a problem today. Is it clear? The same land in India, it is producing far less when compared with the China and South Korea. Land degradation is happening, desertification etc. is happening. Ecological services are getting lost. Is it clear? So these are the problems that are there. Need of the hour. Okay, the siloed approach of agriculture serving food security must give way to food system for sustainability and better nutrition. We need to bring reforms together in all the system. The way we grow, the way we process, the way the transportation is there, all the systems need to be brought with the reform. Now, the activities involved in food production, aggregation, processing, distribution, consumption, socio-economic and physical context, everything is needed to be reformed at the same time. Now, the science is to be relevant to the societal outcomes. Is it clear? Now it has been provided that earlier the behavioral changes were very much important in adopting the science, clear, and now also basically we need to carry the transition where we are bringing the behavioral changes. So basically it has been provided that the transition today is to be carried, it should encompass the spatial, social, scientific dimensions. Is it clear? So societal reforms are needed to be carried. How poverty can be reduced, clear, how the people can be nudged to consume a particularly nutritious kind of food. So society is to be nudged, science is to be brought, and then government policies to be brought, that how the food system can be corrected. Now guys, when we talk about the social reform, there is also a need of agroclimatic approach to agriculture. Now what is this agroclimatic approach to agriculture? You see, every area is not suitable for every kind of crop. Certain areas will be there where the wheat will grow in a better way, some other area the sugarcane will grow. Okay, so climate influences or climate decides which kind of crop will be there in which region. Now what we need to do, we need to take the agroclimatic approach, and only those regions we will need to grow that crop which can accommodate that. Now one example you can see that in Haryana and Punjab a lot of paddy is grown. Now for growing the paddy you need to have minimum of the 100 centimeter of rain, but the average rain in Haryana and Punjab is just around 40 centimeter to 45 centimeters. So they basically, on the logic of agroclimatic approach, the Punjab and Haryana are not carrying the sustainable agriculture. They are not fit to grow the paddy, but still it is going on. So the agroclimatic approach is not there. It should be focused. Only the agroclimatic approach will bring the sustainability, the resource efficiency and the circularity. Is it clear? Then after that it has been provided that the data compiled in the agroclimatic zone by the Indian Council of Agriculture Research as well as the Planning Commission has provided that by going for the agroclimatic approach we can bring the sustainability, and the diversification of the crop can also be carried. Then the farmer's competitiveness is also needed to be improved. We need to incentivize the farmer, okay, for improving the environment. We need to improve the farmer's competitiveness with respect to the crops that they are growing. Then after that, Infrastructure and institutions supporting the producers, agri entrepreneurs, agri micro and small medium enterprises, MSMEs are also needed to be given an important role here. Clear? The state government and the national government need to come out with their policies. Fine. National policy guideline of 2012 by the Ministry of Agriculture has been there. So the policy guidelines also needs to be there, which support the farmer and which support the food systems into the sustainable manner. Clear? This is something that has been provided into this particular article. So very important article for our GS paper number 3. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Is the new economy creating new jobs? Okay, so this particular article, guys, it is talking about the startup culture of India, startup ecosystem of India, GS paper number 3. See, you not need to go too much into the detail, because then the startups such as the Zomato, fine, which came out recently by their IPO, fine, how much money people made by offloading the investment that they have made in Zomato, or such kind of things are coming. So guys, very much important is not there, just the spirit or just the flair we need to understand. Now first of all, understand this particular thing, guys, that in India today we have the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Today the startups who are scaling in the unicorn club, it is increasing every year. First of all, what is a unicorn club? Unicorn club, see, there are certain startups whose valuation goes above $1 billion. So every startup whose valuation is more than $1 billion, that will be called as a unicorn, and it will enter into the unicorn club. Clear? Now when we talk about the startups entering into the unicorn club, there are the 10 unicorns that have been formed in the 53 days of 2022. It means that every 5 days we are making a unicorn startup, a startup whose valuation is more than $1 billion. In the year 2021, there were the 44 startups which became the unicorn. Clear? And now it sees that we will pass that last year's record also. And after this, because of this particular thing, India's startup ecosystem is so competitive that we are placed third. We are placed third globally after the US and China in terms of the global unicorn index. We are having so big startups. Clear? Now it has been said that the technology driven startups and their influence has increased a lot right now. Clear? And they are also influencing the employment patterns right now. Now first of all, it has been provided that the unicorn status, that your startup has got a valuation of $1 billion, it is a very big motivator for the entrepreneurs and all the entrepreneurs, particularly because India have a young demography. The young people, they are motivated, and in this particular line, every day they are coming up with the disruptive innovations. You might have seen the Shark Tank India also, and with the coming of the Shark Tank India, I believe that this startup boom will become even more. There will be a kind of a frenzy that will come here every time it happens. Fine, you see on the YouTube, the Unacademy came out with some of the series. Clear? Centric onto the UPSC, and today the UPSC has become a national hobby. Clear? So today, now the Shark Tank has come, and the startups will become a national hobby. That will happen. Okay, so much more startups will be coming in the years to come. Now even the January 16 has been named as the National Startup Day in India, and focusing onto the startups have become the national priorities. We are identifying and we are recognizing the sustainable startups in India. Is it clear or not? Fine. Now moving on, guys, actually the thing which had favored the startup ecosystem in India is that India has an open market and a very fair and a stable democracy. Is it clear? And the stable democracies are very much congenial for the startups in India. Is it clear? Moreover, at the same time, the data penetration has also happened in India. Internet penetration has happened at a very enormous kind of a speed, particularly after the coming of the Geo. And as there is big internet market, consumers of the internet based startups have also increased, and in this particular thing, startups can make the windfall gains. Windfall gains are unexpected and a very high kind of gains that they are making. Now these startups, guys, have created a niche. Fine, they have created high paying jobs also for the talented employees. Now, but these high quality jobs, they have a particular kind of a problem, that is a flywheel effect. Now what is this flywheel effect? These startups, they are hiring these talented people. They are being paid high salaries. What will happen into the mean course of time? These employees will start their own companies, or they will invest into the newer startups. By that money, they will invest into the riskier ideas. Is it clear? So this is something, one dimension that has been provided. The job creation, when we talk about it, is a very important for any economy. Is it clear or not? But jobs are like a pyramid. Fine, broader at the bottom, broader at the bottom. So basically, more jobs are to be created for the bottom people. If this bottom will be stable, then the entire pyramid will be stable. So the startups are coming, they're generating the high paying jobs, but the jobs at the bottom are also very much important. Clear? So this is something which has been provided here. Fine. So that is all about the article, and now we'll move to the next article. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Now moving on. So basically guys, this particular article, it is talking about the hacking incident that has happened. See, first of all, today when we talk about the hacking has become a very notorious phenomena. Clear? Basically the websites are being hacked, after that you see this particular thing that the government organizations critical facilities are being hacked. When we talk about the hacking incidents, recently the Ministry of Power had issued a statement. We have seen it also, actually it happened few months back. The Ministry of Power had said that there are so much of the attacks that have been made onto the power utilities into the India, and these attacks have originated from the China. Now what had happened, the Chinese cyber security firm Pangu Labs, it has released a technical report, and in this particular report it has provided that actually the hacking that had carried in many of the countries such as the India, there the USA is involved. According to the China, it has been said that the National Security Agency of the NSA, it is involved in hacking of the sensitive information from the countries such as the India, Russia, China and Japan. Now it has been provided by the China that we have actually identified the backdoors in the cyber architecture. Now guys, the backdoors architectures are actually developed by some of the hacker groups, so that they can exploit the vulnerability of the websites, they can exploit the vulnerability of the cyber systems. Okay, now what has happened, the China had said that we have identified some of the backdoors on the prominent websites of India, and that backdoors, they have a unique identifier with them, and this particular identifier is found in the operating manuals of the NSA, National Security Agency. Now guys, understand, in 2013 there was a very big controversy that happened. Fine, there was an analyst working with the CIA. His name was Snowden, Edward Snowden. Now Edward Snowden, there in 2013 revealed the PRISM incident. He revealed that government of USA is spying on the sovereign government, it is spying on the organizations, on the MNCs, on the companies. Okay, and there the NSA was doing all this particular kind of thing. So the unique identifiers of the NSA that was revealed in 2013 by the Edward Snowden, these identifiers have been found into the backdoor entries in some of the websites. So it means that the NSA is involved in hacking of the websites of the research institutions, of some of the even government departments and government ministries. So this is something that has happened. Clear? So guys, just a kind of thing, a kind of a reference that you can use if a question is coming onto the cyber security. So there is a cyber security mentioned in GS paper number 3. So just as a reference, we can use such kind of things. Now moving to the next article. Now this article is from the assembly poll section, and it is talking about the Meiteis of Manipur and their demand for the ST status, which hangs in fire. It means that probably it will not be given. Now let's discuss about the Meiteis of the Meiteis of Manipur. So basically guys, when we talk about the Meitei community of Manipur, these Meiteis, first of all, they predominantly are the Vaishnavite Hindus. Clear? Some of the Meiteis, they also are Muslims. Around the 8% of the Meiteis, they are the Muslims also, but predominantly they are the Hindus. And being Hindu, they follow the caste system also. And therefore, the lower caste among the Meiteis, they have been given the scheduled caste status also. And being the scheduled caste, they have been given the reservation already. Then it has been provided that with the coming of the OBC reservation, some of the Meiteis have also been given the OBC reservation. Clear? In terms of numbers also, the Meiteis are very much predominant into the Manipur. It has been said that out of the 60 assembly constituencies that are there in the Manipur, in 40 of them, the Meiteis are a dominant community. In 40 of them, the Meiteis are a dominant community. Is it clear? So numerically they are dominant. Already they are having the reservation under scheduled caste and the OBCs. Now some of the Meiteis, they demand that the ST status should also be given to some of them who have a tribal culture. Is it clear? But again, but other communities in the Manipur have come against this particular demand. They said that no, ST status will not be a kind of a credible demand because already they are very much influential. So this is something that has happened there. Apart from that, nothing more is there. Is it clear? Apart from that, nothing more is there in this particular dimension. Now guys, when we talk about the tribals, scheduled tribes, there is the article number 342 of the Indian Constitution. Clear? Then basically article number 342 of the Indian Constitution, and then there is article number 366 of the Constitution. Clear? Article number 366 defines the scheduled tribe as those tribes or tribal communities, fine, which can be declared by the virtue of article 342. So 342, the president has the power that it can declare any community as a scheduled tribe community. So article 342 prescribes the procedure of declaring a community as a scheduled tribe community. And who has the power? The president can declare a community as a scheduled tribe community given under article 342. Is it clear? And 366 has defined the scheduled tribes. Clear? So that is all guys about this particular thing. I hope that you have understood it. And now after this we will be coming to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Clear? So that is all. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.